Hi friends! So this is the hardest video that I have ever had to make. But today is the 9-year anniversary of Monica Goes, so it seemed definitely fitting to put this video out, finally, because I've been dreading it. Now, when I started Monica Goes, it was for a couple different reasons. I was acting a lot and I found myself on set and I wasn't completely fulfilled, and I would think, I wonder if I'll be home in time for The Bachelor, and I thought, that's not really filling me up the way that I thought it would. So I started kind of searching around for what my purpose was and things that really lit me up, and I realized that I'm happiest on stage. I went back to when I would MC country music festivals and when I was teaching line dance and when I'm singing, all of the things, right? And so I took that to mean that I should be a host. And so my hosting teacher told me to create my dream show as a way to get auditions. And for me, that was hiking and being outdoors and inspiring people to break out of their comfort zone. But I never really planned on doing anything with it. It just sort of became a thing. And the more I did it, the more I loved it. And I really just wanted to inspire more and more and more people. The other reason I really started it was kind of an escape in a way to find happiness in the middle of a toxic marriage. He didn't like to hike or be outdoors or travel, and so I thought I need to find a way to get this out of my career. And so those were the two reasons I started the show, and I definitely never planned on it becoming all it did. As a lot of you know, it got featured in big publications, and I got to travel around the US and Costa Rica and Iceland and Ireland, and it's been the most amazing, wild trip of my life. I met my best friend Kristin, who became my videographer, and she's been with me for 7 of the 9 years. And for anybody who knows me, you know that I have said I would do Monica Goes until the day I died. Like, this was my baby, is my baby. It's a business that I built from the ground up. I've literally poured blood, sweat, and tears into this business. I've done everything I can to keep it going in many, many different times and ways. But a lot's changing. And that started obviously in 2020, which I think a lot of people that happened to. When COVID happened and quarantine happened, I kind of had 2 choices. Either I could talk about travel, dive into TikTok, keep it going, use the downtime to hustle more, which I saw a lot of my colleagues doing, and they went viral and went on to have these big careers and things took off for them in that time. But I was so burnt out by the time quarantine happened. I could not wait to sit at home in my PJs and day drink and do puzzles and make Tiger King videos, and it was such a good break for me. I mean, I was working 12 to 18 hours a day hustling. So it was a much needed break. And then in that time, I obviously met Steve. We moved to Denver. And then the real kind of first big nail in the coffin, I guess second after COVID, was when I broke my foot. I couldn't travel and I had to accept a 9-to-5 job, which broke my heart. Okay, I'm trying not to cry in this video, but that really did. I felt like I was giving up. But I had to. I needed the stability. I was down to my last $100, and then had a miscarriage, and then went on to have Grayson, and just life got in the way, and I kept thinking, I'll get that spark back, I'll get that motivation back, and it just wasn't happening. And then I thought, okay, I'll make it family travel, but when I'm hiking with Grayson, I don't want to film. And I would get home and think, oh crap, I didn't film anything because I didn't want to. And then I thought I'll make it local travel, and there is still some of that. But it just, the spark never came back, the ambition never came back, and I've been, this year has been a lot of grieving of who I thought I'd be and what I thought the show would be. But through that process, I've also done some digging into what do I see next, and who do I want to be in this next season, and who do I want to be for my family. And I went back through those exercises and moments and came back to the same conclusion, that I am happiest on stage. And it's kind of ironic that 9 years ago when I had that realization, I didn't really think about the fact that on-camera hosting is not on stage. It still was missing that aspect of people and like feeding off of people. So that came back to me, and I thought I definitely want to be a speaker and an MC and all of those things and lean back into that. And I just want to have bigger conversations. That's who I am. If you are friends with me in real life, and even through here, you've seen I want to talk about the big stuff. I want to talk about miscarriage and new mom and grieving the loss of a business and pivoting and all of the things in life, these big topics. I want to talk about that stuff. And I love to talk about that stuff more than itineraries and packing list, which I do love. But yeah, I'm ready to step into that new thing. So definitely more speaking, and there might be another book coming down the road eventually. But I want to talk about what's next for Monica Goes. And as a lot of you guys have seen, there hasn't been a lot of content in the last year, and people were like, you don't need to make a video, you're kind of like fading out quietly. But I really wanted to, because some of you guys have been with me since the beginning, and you've been the biggest cheerleaders and so much fun, and I've met a lot of you in person. So I felt like I owed it to you guys to kind of explain why things are going this way and also what's next. But I also needed to say it out loud for myself because it's been so hard for me to admit. But it's going to change. It's going to be different. The official show part is sort of coming to an end. There is not going to be regular content every 2 weeks like I produced for the first 8 years. Not really going to be travel blogs unless something really inspires me. Newsletters are going to look different. They're going to talk more about mindset and change and all of the bigger things. Now look, if Alaska DMO calls me, I'm gonna go. If Dream DMOs call me, I would still love to create content. There's some local DMOs that I've connected with that I still really want to work with and do some stuff with. I still love hiking and traveling, and I'm sure there will be reels and short form content and pictures, but I don't want the pressure anymore of feeling like I'm building this thing, because I'm kind of not. I'm letting that go. Again, I will be the first to say I don't know the future, and things always tend to surprise me. I left Nashville thinking I was done with music, and I still sing in bands. I left LA thinking I was done with acting, and I'm still doing commercials. So things have a funny way of coming back, so I will never say never. But I'm ready to transition into this next version of myself. I'm ready to get back to being on stage and being bigger and getting that confidence back that I feel like the last 3 years of life have really taken from me. Doing a lot of inner work, realizing I didn't heal some things. You know, physically things have changed, and I want to get back to that. I want to talk about that journey. So yeah, just a lot of changes, but I am, for the first time in a while, very excited for this version of myself that's coming, that I see. I think there's something with music coming back in along with speaking. I feel like I'm bringing back the little crazy kid of singing and dancing and being a little wild. So yeah, where I'm going is very, very exciting, and it's taken me a long time to admit that I don't want to go back to who I was, and I'm so grateful to her and for this journey, and it's been the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. But I don't want to force it anymore. I don't want to feel like it's a burden. And if you guys were here for the travel content only, totally fine. I totally accept that. I am happy to give recommendations to some of my friends and colleagues who are doing amazing things in the travel space, who I'm following and cheering on from afar. So I totally get it if this is not your jam and this is not for you. I'm ready to welcome in the new audience that maybe is into some of this stuff and does want to get a little bit deeper. And that's where I felt like I just needed to kind of come on and explain some of that and you know, travel's always going to be a part of my life. Hosting is definitely a part of my life. I still see myself emceeing and doing interviews and hosting jobs and things like that. I just am no longer pursuing Monica Goes being the next big travel show. And it's wild too. A lot of you may not know this, but it came so close, so close, many times. 2 production companies were on board and it got nixed at the last second. And, you know, I mean, anybody who's an entrepreneur and definitely in entertainment, you know the emotional roller coaster of keeping that thing alive. And I'm so glad I did it. And I will never regret going after my dreams. And I don't ever want anybody to regret that, even if it doesn't turn out the way you thought it would. Oh my gosh, I said I wouldn't get emotional. But for the first time, I'm very excited for what's next. And I think that's why I'm ready to say goodbye to this in the way that it's been seen. And I don't want the travel contacts that I've talked to recently to think like I wouldn't do anything with them, or like that's not going to be a part of my life. It is. I'm actually speaking at a travel show in the spring about working with destinations. And I'm also doing emceeing stuff. So it's going to be kind of a weird, like wild transition. But like I said, the biggest thing is I just didn't want to feel this pressure of I should be working on episodes. I should be filming. I should be editing. You know, I talk about it all the time that I always quote Carrie Bradshaw and say, why are we shitting all over ourselves? But I was doing that to myself for the last year. I have been 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I have beat myself up for not keeping the content going. But at the end of the day, you know, the only person I was letting down was me by holding on to this thing that doesn't excite me anymore. So I still love it. The videos will be on YouTube. They're not going anywhere. As I said, there will probably be travel content here and there and outdoor content here and there. Still gonna be hiking and taking photos and things, but I'm so excited to like take a trip with Kristin where we're not trying to get the shot, and take a trip with Grayson and not have to stop and film. So I'm really pumped for what's next. I appreciate you all so much for being here like you have been. It's meant the absolute world to me. I'm not going anywhere, even though it may look different. So if you're here for it, please stick around. But if not, I totally get it. And I love you guys so much, and thank you. Thank you for the last 9 years and for the next 9. Bye.